Thank you for listening to Depictions Media Radio. A lot of experts, as spiritual experts and energy experts, are saying that we're headed into a new time, a new era of humanity. Climate change would also tell us that we also are headed into a new era, that we need to think differently about certain things. We need to think differently about economy. We need to think differently about power. We need to think differently about our fellow human beings. Science is telling us that there's a lot of research saying that we're more joined than what we actually think we are, and that more living things are cognitive than what we originally thought. So this means that we have to come up with a new respect for everything. And we also need to empower ourselves with that new respect. Empower the fact that there are gifts that we can learn that are intuitive. Intuitiveness can lead us to greater things, lead us to more breakthroughs in our minds, our spirits, and how we understand the cosmos. Our guest today, Robyn Wyman, is going to help us understand some of what we need to learn and how we need to understand our intuitive being in order to move forward with this new era that we're going to enter into in humanity. Welcome back, everybody. We are here today to celebrate women as leaders in our community, and today I have she's an old friend. She's a comfortable person to be around. And when you first look at her, you may think that maybe she's not such a powerhouse. But once you get to know Robyn, and you get to speak with Robyn, and you find out that she is this absolute spiritual powerhouse, and that she has guidance and wisdom that we should be plugging into so that we can lead our world into a better place, a more loving place. Welcome to the show, Robyn Wyman. So, how are you today, Robyn?
I'm very well, and thank you for that, Michael. That's just very that moves me that you said that. So, thank you so much. I feel very grateful for you saying those words about me, and I'm going to own them. So that's another big part for women, to start owning their power. Yeah,
and I know you don't work with just women. You work with anyone who needs your help and is open to you helping them, right?
I do work with men also,
mm-hmm.
And I find quite often I seem to work with people who could have disabilities, and seniors, people who sometimes don't have a voice for themselves. So I find that seems to be where I resonate a lot. But I am open. I know they say, oh, you should just have a niche and a space. But I just feel like who needs to come and work with me and be with me, and how we co-collaborate and create together, that's who comes to me. And that could be just somebody I'm just sitting, like on the bench down by the water and just sitting and chatting, and then someone will just come up and we're chatting, and it's just this beautiful interaction that we have. And that's my life. When I think back as being younger, I've always had this beautiful, I call it my gift, just to be able to hold a space for people where they feel comfortable. And people have told me such personal things in that I don't even know. Maybe it's because they don't know me, they just feel, but often people will just share, and it could be just for 15 minutes, and then they'll go on their way.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And I just can hold the space for them, and we just have, but it's always, I find most, now it's just, people are really searching for what, especially through the pandemic in the last year and a half, that it's really escalating and finding about where am I and where am I going, and I don't know if I'm happy in the situation. And these seem to be very, very intimate conversations that people will have with me, whether they're my clients or just someone I'm meeting on the street.
Yeah, and it's the holding space thing that people just start to feel comfortable and open up, right?
Right. And I realized I've always had that, because I used to not understand it when I was younger, but it led me to doing the death doula work, because that really is sitting and witnessing someone at the end of their life, and their families and what they're going through. And it is a holding space. I feel very honored to be able to do that. And I didn't really understand it till my later years, but I realized that is a massive gift that I have.
Yeah. So how did exactly, because I know your business is called Circle of Life, and
I have two businesses. I have a new business called the Calm Village, which is, it's similar but a little bit same but different. But continue on. I just wanted to put that.
Yeah.
That with
No.
you.
Okay. I almost forgot about the Calm Village, and
Right.
I'm glad you reminded me of that. How did you get started doing that kind of work for people to begin with?
Years ago, I studied. I went through a series of people in my family dying when I was in my early 30s. So 29 is when my sister died, and there were 7 deaths in 7 years. So, and my mom was the last death, and I was 36 years old. And I remember my mom on her deathbed saying to me, "You are now the sage of the family." I didn't want that. I didn't know what that meant. I was angry. It was a lot of, it was my sister, my mom, my auntie, both my grandmas, and then and my uncle and a dear family friend. So there was a lot of, it was just one person would die and somebody would be diagnosed, or there was some traumatic death. But I just remember not really understanding what that was, what the sage of the family, like the center. I'm the woman who is the matriarch now at 36, and I was not prepared for that. So I did a lot of soul searching, questioning my belief. I was angry at God. I was angry, but I knew deep inside of myself that I wanted to follow a more preventative path for health and a holistic path. So it took me learning about the plant medicines, aromatherapy, and herbology, and then that led me to learning massage. Then someone said, "Oh, you really can hold space. You should look at Reiki." So I kept learning all these different, and I moved into these more subtle realms, as well as really exploring my own beliefs and my own, what I believed source is, or God, or whatever you want to call that, for myself. And that has been, I've always been open that way. I was always fascinated with the mysterious and the occult. I was always been fascinated with that. But I would say it was my early 30s that when I really started stepping into, what is this? Why am I here? Why are we here? What is this about? And I'm very comfortable in that now and where I'm going. And that's what I help people with now, is people who are at the end of their life, people who are grieving through the pandemic. We've had so many people that have come to me that are just so anxious and just uncomfortable in their lives and wanting to change. And I think one of the gifts of the pandemic has been that we've been able to slow down and look at, oh, I really am going 100 miles an hour and I'm not happy with that. What could I do to change things in my life? And my whole approach is helping people understand their physical body, their emotional body, their mental body, their etheric body, their spiritual body. Like, we have all these bodies, and if we only focus on one and ignore the others, we're not going to be balanced in our lives. So how do we balance that and find ways to support ourselves through that holistically? So that's my focus. And I just also would like to share that for any listeners, that we are grieving. This pandemic we are in a state of grieving, because we've left what we had before, and we don't know how it's going to end. There's no going back to the way it was. What will be the new normal? I don't even like the word normal personally, but the way going forward. And we are grieving as a collective in humanity. And that's something to acknowledge, to just say, I am grieving. I'm sad about the way things used to be.
Yeah.
It's okay.
Well, the whole grief process, there's grief. Correct me if I'm wrong here, but the grief process involves a whole host of emotions. It could be at times happy, at times sad. It could be any of the emotions that we feel, but they're intensified because of an event that has happened, such as the pandemic that we're all going through now.
Right. And I think one of the biggest things we have to look at is, I talk about death with people, and death is a taboo topic, right? We don't want to go there because we're not comfortable with the thought of our own death. We're obsessed with youth, and it is a reality. We're all going to die. Nobody gets out of here alive. It's going to happen, and it's odd to me that we don't talk about it, but for me, it was so forced upon me at that time. It wasn't forced, or whatever you want to call it. It just happened. I was bombarded with it, and it really made me look about what was important in my life. Who did I cherish? How did I want to spend my time? Also, things about what do I have regrets with? Where do I want to be in 10 years? It made me look at who do I want to be as a person, because I realized it's about how we live our life as spirit. And we're all, we talk about this a lot, Michael. We are a spiritual being having a physical experience. And how do we want to walk this life? I want to walk it in joy and hope, and compassion and caring and gratitude. And, of course I have my moments where I get down and feel funky or get upset or I'm just tired. Sometimes I'm saying with the COVID, this whole pandemic, I'm just done. Right? A lot of people, I'm hearing that a lot from people, I'm done. But and then just coming back to my center of going, okay, get that balance if I'm feeling a little off. And it's so important that we express this with others and be able to talk about these things, because the whole thought about death is, it's the more we understand that and find peace with the concept of death, the more fulfilled we'll be in the moment while we're living. That's my belief. That I totally believe that. I'd just like to share a quick story. I got called yesterday by my two cousins, and one of them lives in Kimberley, and the other one lives out the valley. I live in North Van. So we just were able to come together. My one cousin was in town, her sister, and we met and we had lunch. We had a beautiful lunch, and our conversation was all around spirituality and the power of female, and the power of, as women we get older, this wise woman concept of how we're here to share. And we were talking about just why people don't feel complete, and they feel longing for people all the time. And this is another belief I have, is that when we're together, so often we're not really present when we're with someone. So we're just having a conversation, but we're not really fully present with them in the moment. So then when the time together we end and people go their separate ways, people are longing for that person because they weren't present when they were connected. Are you following what I'm trying to say?
Right, yeah.
So I said, we're so present and engaged in the conversation yesterday that our hearts were filled. So my one cousin who goes, I'm really close with her, and now she just moved to Kimberley. I'm not going to see her for months again. And my other cousin, we have busy lives, and we connect when we can, but we never say, oh, I haven't seen you for a long time. There's not that throwing of energy. Oh, when are we going to get together? I'm feeling down. You don't call me. There's none of that. We are just present when we're together, and then we let go and we separate. And that is how I like to have my connections with people always now. Because when you're gone, I've let you go. You're gone.
Yeah. It sounds like what you're saying is there's no undone business that.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Now, doing some of the things that I do, interviewing people and just talking to people about things, I hear this a lot that, gee, if I had known that was my last words with them, I would have.
Mm.
And it that would have could be any number of things, but they're sitting in a state of regret that they have undone things that they left undone, or things they left unsaid. Right?
There's so many unresolved issues that we don't say. Like, did you or did you sit and say I love you?
Yeah.
I always say I love people and hug them, and I want them to know, because we don't know what can happen in any moment. Just don't.
Yeah.
And there's a lot of what ifs. What if I had said this? What if I hadn't let them get in the car? What if, I'm talking specifically about death, because this is what people share with me. It's always the unresolved issues. Why didn't I, maybe say I loved you? Why did I hold that grudge? Why didn't I go and see her? All that stuff. And then the what ifs. What if I hadn't let them get in the car? What if they had, the why, what if I had, I can't think of something right now as an example, but I think you're understanding the flow of my thought here. And that's so often, so many people struggle with that. And that's after someone's died with the grief, or in a relationship when it ended. But I want to just share with people that time heals. You never forget. The other day I was getting a coffee. I was with my daughter, and the song by Van Morrison was on, and it was, I think it's called, do you know how much I love you? And it was playing, and it was played, and I heard it in the background. I'm like, oh, I love that song. And then I remembered, and I was just in it, and then I remembered it was a song that played the summer my sister died. So it was always playing, and I would just be driving to the hospital, or she stayed with my mom and dad, and it would just come on, and I would just cry. And when it came on, I started to cry again. And my sister died 31 years ago. So I'm saying, it's not like I'm going, oh, I wish she was here. It wasn't that feeling now, but it was just that remembering that feeling and how much I love her. And then I thought, oh, she's with me right now, right? She's wanted to communicate that through that song to me.
Yeah.
But it was beautiful. So for people, I just want to say, it never leaves. It just softens. That's been my experience. It just softens.
Yeah.
But that was 31 years ago. And here this song comes, and I'm right back there. So fascinating.
Yeah. It's amazing how things happen, and then it takes us back in time. So yeah, it's almost as though I'm going to make a comment on this one. It's almost as though that chunk of time never left it. It was always just still sitting there anyway.
Well, I believe everything's happening at the same time at every second. It really hasn't, right? But that's maybe a topic for another day.
Yeah, time in that on that perspective. Yeah, we'll set that aside for we'll make that a specific topic.
It's a teaser. That was
yeah,
a teaser.
Yeah, because we'll have fun with that one later on. But having known those 7 people who died, who left your current field of life. Um, how did they help you? Because they left something with you that helped you, I'm sure.
Oh, yes. Um, I would actually want to do a talk on this someday, the gifts. My sister taught me all I need is your love. That's all anyone needs from each other is their love. That was powerful. And she told me that when she was diagnosed. And I went to my mom and dad's house and we just stood and hugged in the hallway and we cried. It was not a good, it was a brain tumor and it wasn't a good prognosis.
Mm-hmm.
And we hugged and cried and then she just stepped away and she said, I'm going to be okay no matter what happens. That's powerful. And all I need is your love.
Wow.
That's so simple. It was so simple to do. And I want to share a big one from my auntie was that you'd go to my auntie's house and she would drop everything. So being present with you. And she taught me that. And she would sit down and we'd have a coffee or we'd sit in the backyard or have tea or whatever. And we would just chat about everything and anything. And then it was so beautiful for someone to just put everything aside and just focus on you. So that was the gift of being present. She taught me that.
Wow.
And my mama taught me how to be a strong woman. I didn't always like her for that, but she was strong, and she said that to me all the time. You are a strong woman. You can do whatever you want. You go for it. And that's, like her, and that's what other things she said as she was coming to the end of her life. Because my mom and I could be a challenging relationship, two strong women, really, and I have two strong girls, so I know what that can be like at sometimes.
Yeah.
So those are three beautiful things that those women taught me. And one other I want to share is my great auntie died in 2013, so that was, it's a fair time now, but that was later. And she used to always, when I'd see her, put her hands, like give me a hug and then put her hands on my shoulder, and she'd look in my eyes and say, you're real, girl. You're just real. You stay real. You be real. And we used to go, what does she mean by that? Because she said this to me my whole life. And it was that when I got older, I understood that I'm just who I am who I am. I'm not going to be different with different people in different situations. It's just to be real and be authentic, to be your authentic self.
Yeah.
So those are, I think those are powerful learnings from people and gifts.
Yeah. I like the word gift on that one because especially to be who you're supposed to be and to be real, and encouragement to stay real. Wow, that's a true gift,
Mm-hmm.
So
She was funny. You're real, girl. You're real. I was like, what?
yeah.
Anyway, I get it now in my wisdom.
Your your inner power, it just shows through so much. I remember I'm going to tell one of our stories now. I remember meditations with you that because I really enjoy your guided meditations. They're just a lot of fun, and sometimes they're very timely because it's like I'm questioning something in my life, and then I have a guided meditation with Robyn, and I have the answer. It's like it's a real gift that you have to be able to guide people the way you do. So,
Thank you. That makes me kind of laugh because I love to go on journeys. I daydream a lot. I love that state. And when I was a little kid in school, my last name is Wyman, so W. And when I went to school, you sat in your seat in your alphabetical order. So I was in the very back corner. I'm not very tall, so I could hide really back there. And the teachers used to say to, like on the report card, Robyn would be doing so much better if she wasn't such a daydreamer. I go, it really helps me be able to take people on the visual journeys as through the meditation, because it's another thing that I think I've been honing that skill since I was just a little kid. And that's something I'd like to do, take people on these beautiful journeys.
Yeah. Yeah.
Exploring.
So I didn't see. I did learn something new about you. I didn't know about the daydreaming.
Yeah. And I would have done so much better, Michael, in school.
It would seem to me that you did well enough in school to get through it. So
yeah, I got through. That's the main thing. I remember my son saying to me, he's similar to me. He's artsy. He's a musician and very creative. I'm a creative being. I think of myself that way. And I remember him. We were just washing dishes, and he said, "Mom, I want to learn how to meditate." I go, "I'm not sure. I want to learn." And I said, "Oh, hon, you do it all day." And he says, "You don't have to learn that." And he says, "Why, Mom?" And I said, "Because you meditate and daydream all day at school. You're always doing it." He went, "Oh." And you could say, "Oh, meditation isn't daydreaming," but in a sense, it's contemplation, and you're just letting go, because you don't have a focus. You're just letting go, and that is a form of meditation. So,
I'd never thought of it that way.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
It is. It doesn't always have to be difficult. Because trying to meditate, sometimes sitting down and just sitting and trying to clear your mind, and it doesn't clear because the thoughts are coming, and then you can start to get agitated and beat yourself up. So there's many ways to meditate.
Yeah.
Walking, being in nature, sitting watching the ocean, peeling potatoes, weeding. Right?
Yeah.
Active. I like active. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Journey, being led. It's all good. Music.
Yeah, I guess the list is endless as long as it helps us achieve what we want to achieve, right?
Exactly. And that's just a quieting the mind.
Yeah.
And then when you quiet your mind and your body, and you get into your body and quiet your mind, there's where the magic happens. That's when we connect to Source and the Earth, our Mama and Source, and then beautiful things happen.
Yeah. That's one of the other things that I enjoy. I enjoy our conversations with you, because you always point out. You never point out the problems per se. You always point out the beauty.
Yeah, you definitely. I think right now we're being bombarded with media for. It creates a lot of worry and fear, and there's also. So I choose to see the possibilities. What's possible here? There's potential, but and then the possibilities, and that's what I chat with my clients. Yeah. And I'm leading a group right now. It's called the Wisdom of Nature. So I take people out into nature, and we go for walks, and I do teach them about the plants and a little bit of foraging, but really I'm talking to them about connecting into what are you feeling when you're walking? What are you smelling? What plant or tree are you noticing a lot? Because that tree and plant is wanting to communicate with you. We've just shut down these we've created veils through this brilliance that we have, because we can communicate with everything. And I'm helping people just quiet enough that they can just tap back into their own beauty and their own divinity. And I find nature the beautiful way to do that. And our earth provides us with everything. It's so beautiful. So we just do these walks. Last one we were by the river, and we did a beautiful releasing ceremony, and I played my singing bowl, and we talked about water, the element of water and flow. And so I've always found nature to be a very powerful teacher.
So nature's the ultimate in power.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, you bet your water. Yeah. So that's how I like to talk about that with people. And when I see things when people are talking about a problem they're going through, and I'm not trying to discount that people have problems because I know they do, but when they're telling me the story of what's going on, I'm tracking the energy of what's going on, and then I'll go, oh, they're in shame, oh, they're in victim, oh, they're in sadness or grief. I feel things, but I also track the energy, and then we clear that energetic off them, and then that softens. And you still have the story, but it's not got the emotional charge to it.
Yeah.
That's how I work. So I'm looking for the energy of what that emotion is.
Right.
Yeah.
Is
I'm saying a lot today, aren't I?
yeah. Is that charged energy what causes people to stay in like a state of depression or anything like that?
Yeah, because we have to remember we have a mental and emotional body, and they're pairs, right? You can't have a thought without feeling something. An emotion is attached,
Mm-hmm.
right? And then so when you think a thought, say, you were criticized when you were young. Like for me, I was a dreamer. I used to think, well, maybe that's not a good thing to be, right? That was sort of told to me that was a negative. So you could have a thought around, oh, the teacher, because authority is saying that, and then I go, oh, what's wrong with me? There's the emotion. Oh, something's wrong with me. Something's wrong. So that's the magnetism of the energy of the thought, the emotion that's coming to you. And then if you keep thinking about, oh, what's wrong with me? What's wrong with me? Why am I daydreaming? Or what's wrong? And then we build this up, and then we get this energy, electromagnetic energy packet. We don't know what to do with it. So we just sort of put it in our field. We might put it in an organ. We might put it in a chakra. It may go in our field, and then it's there, and it sits there. And this is what's going on now is we're releasing all these packets of energy. Mm-hmm. We're in this time where we're able to release these. And that's how I help people. I do teach them about the plants and how to support their bodies. And I'm very practical in my support with people, but that's what it is. So you've got to clear that emotional charge off the body. You're still going to have the thought and remembering something, but the charge won't be there, and that's where the wisdom is. Yeah. It's through our tough times and our sometimes our suffering that the most valuable lessons come.
Yeah.
Are you following me?
Yeah, I am following you. Because so our senses are kind of attached to our emotions. It's like the emotion is like can be like a sixth sense.
Right. Like I said, I heard the song, the sound, and that energetic. The sound is vibration, right? And it brought me back to that time, and there was tears in my eyes. But I was thinking about her, but it wasn't. It was just my heart felt expanded and the beauty of who she was, and I just was thinking about her. Mm-hmm. It was beautiful. It wasn't like, oh, she's gone, I miss her so much. It wasn't that. I'm not saying it was that. But that song brought me back to that, mm-hmm. remembering her in that beautiful way. And that's wisdom. So it shows that I've worked through my grief around her death.
Right.
Right.
Does that mean that at times we won't miss that person, or think that, gee, I wish they were here they would have loved this?
Oh, I think, but they are always here because my son knew my sister, but my daughters didn't. But they do, because I talk about her all the time. She's always with us, mm-hmm. and I talk about everybody. They're not physically here. That's where you can't sit down and have a dinner with them, and that in that sort of way, that can be the missing them there. But I'm always saying, oh, Annie Lass would be doing this, she'd be doing that. Or my mom's birthday was the 6th of July, so we went down to the water and we talked about her, and we put some flowers and some roses in the water, and we do these things. Like we're always, Grandma would have laughed at that. Oh, Grandma would have said that. Like they're always part. It's just because they're not with us in the physical doesn't mean they're not with us.
Yeah.
And we keep them alive through our hearts and our memories and laughter. And I always talk with my kids and my cousins.
Memories and stories, right?
Mm-hmm.
So,
Yeah, yeah,
so,
yeah. There's a beautiful calm in our conversation. It's lovely.
yeah.
Feels good.
Mm-hmm. So, seeing everything that's happening today, um, there's a lot of changes, still a lot of change yet to happen. You know that.
Yeah.
Somebody tweeted something yesterday, and they were all upset because there's of course there was the flood in Belgium and the Netherlands. There was another flood or whatever, and um, they posted about all this floods and our planet's flooding and our planet's doing this and our planet is doing that, and of course, where we are right now, it's on fire.
Right.
Not flooding, but it's on fire. It's burning up. But it's not really burning up.
It's just it's transmuting. It's changing. And I want to share something. So this might be a little woo-woo for people, but I want to share it anyway.
Mm-hmm.
As we are releasing all these emotions, so is the earth. Because every thought we've ever thought or emotion we've ever had, they just don't go poof, whether we act on them or not. They go into the earth.
Mm-hmm.
And she's releasing them. And she's releasing them through. Sometimes it's soft, like a breeze, or it could be a storm or a flood or a hurricane or a volcano or a tsunami. I mean, this is, I mean, there is also global warming, but this is my belief that she's releasing, and that's what's happening. It's not always easy. It's not.
Mm-hmm.
But that's what I truly believe that's happening.
Well, the way I see it, sometimes nature, like I was outside of Revelstoke, there's an old growth forest, and I I only got to spend a few minutes there. A few minutes in tree time is only like maybe an hour or two, but if we it takes some time. It takes those trees time to talk to us. We can't in a couple hours. It's nothing to them when they've been around for thousands of years, right?
Mm-hmm.
And
so much wisdom.
Yeah, so they're slowly talking to us, and then there's other parts of our planet, like with the fires and the floods. That's a quicker communication. But it's all communication. That our planet is trying to talk back to us, right?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So,
and releasing.
Yeah.
And transmuting, because out of fire comes ash, and out of ash comes new life. Nothing ever ends. And out of water, it just is like a clear. Well, we live in Vancouver, Michael. We know it rains a lot here. So, although it hasn't been, but I always feel when it's raining, we're being blessed. We're getting cleared. Water's very purifying.
Yes.
And I'm not, I've seen. I have have a client who lives in Germany, and we've been communicating, and he's near where the floods have happened. It's just tragic.
Yeah.
And he sent me pictures, and that's, I'm not sure, I don't know why things happen. I don't have that sense or understanding. That's not, I don't work that way, but they are happening, and things are being released and transmuted, and it's a very loud time. It's noisy. I just like to say it's noisy on our planet now.
Yeah.
Because I don't want to get people into the fear and all those heavier emotions. They bring our vibration down, and then we're no good to anybody when we're all in a low vibration. I'm very, very very careful about how I manage my thoughts and emotions and my vibration, and the things that keep me in that state of well-being are very important to me. And I just want to share with your listeners that I think it's essential to do your whatever makes you happy, whatever food makes you feel strong, whatever, getting lots of sleep, being care for yourself, self-care, be kind to others, be grateful for what you have. Think of things like less watching the media, or get the headlines and then turn it off. Don't let it just be there in the background. It's heavy, and we are energetic beings, and the higher we can vibrate, the healthier the planet we will be, and the planet will be.
Yeah. So after all this it's done, all the noise is over and everything. What do you think will happen to our planet and our home?
I think we're going through the grand shift, the grand awakening, and it's messy. There's a lot of, like, we just have to look at, we talked about the planet. We can look about the financial system, the education system, the medical system. I mean, everything is I feel just falling down, like collapsing. And I think it needs to happen so that we can go forward in this new energetic, in this new, this unity consciousness of love and compassion, where we're going to be just a different being. You look at these little ones that are coming in; they are highly intuitive and extremely sensitive. Mm-hmm. They're going to be the leaders of the future, and it's going to be collaboration, kindness, cooperation. It's not going to be greed and I'm going to get ahead and screw you. And that energy is old and it's done.
Yeah.
We're going through the mess of we work collaboratively. We're in community. And that's happening. You're seeing it a lot. How can we be better? How can I treat someone better? If I do say something to someone that maybe was unkind, that you can go and apologize to them quickly. I'm just overreacting. Maybe we take a breath before we react in a situation. Maybe we're triggered that actually that's us, something inside of us that's not in harmony, instead of projecting it onto someone else.
Yeah. A lot of what you say does lead back to vibration, and how important is vibration to our own being, and how deep does vibration actually take us?
It's everything. You're either vibing high or you're vibing low. It's everything. Because everything in this universe, we know it's sound, and then vibration and light.
Yeah.
And then the vibration becomes a frequency. So you're either vibrating at a lower frequency or a higher frequency. Think about a time where you just have such a good belly laugh and how good you feel when that's happening, right? After.
Yeah.
Or think about when you watch sometimes like the smile on the baby's face, like just the joy, or that sweet sound. I've got a little preschool near me, and I can hear like a daycare, and I can hear the little kids giggling and laughing, and it's so sweet. That's high vibe. How does that make you feel? How does sitting in traffic, being cut off, like I'm just trying to think of some things that I don't really enjoy to do too much, or listening to someone yelling at someone on the street, or those things. They don't make you feel good. It makes you contract. I always think about what opens our heart, what makes you feel expansive. Do more of that.
Yeah. Yeah. Now you're bringing me back to streams and rivers and ocean sprays and things like that.
Yeah.
That.
Look at the sunset. Beauty. I love beauty. I'm all about beauty. So, flowers, buy some flowers and put them in your home. Just use a beautiful essential oil. Go for a walk.
Yeah.
These are simple things, and they don't cost a lot of money.
Yeah.
Right? Doesn't have to be, I've got to go on that trip because I'm so stressed out from work for the last year and I get my 1 week at the beach. No, got to incorporate throughout your day, every week, every month, all the time.
Yeah. So, as usual, it is always a joy to talk with you. But we're starting to run out of time again. Oh no.
We love chatting, Michael.
Yeah, we do. We
These
do.
are my conversations with.
Yeah,
I'm finding more and more. This is how my conversations and how I live. I was with my cousins and I just said yesterday for lunch, and I went, "Oh, pinch me," and just go. I have an amazing, blessed life. And is it perfect every minute? No, but this isn't what that's about. We're here to experience. Some days I have some rough days too.
Yeah.
But on the whole, it's just this. Oh my gosh, pinch me.
I look at it like this, right? Yeah, there are some things that I actually have to do so that I get the bills paid or whatever. Yeah, sure. But for the most part, I spend most of my day hanging out with my wife, talking to good friends,
Yeah.
and laughing in the sun or outside in the open. It's like, isn't that what a charmed life is supposed to be?
Yes. It's
Yeah.
what we came to be. That's
Yeah.
why we came here to help create this. And that's what we're doing.
Yeah.
You're a light. I'm a light. Other people are lights. Like there's these I see them as upwellings of light all over the planet.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And, if my wish, I said to my girlfriend, because we've been on this journey for so long, and sometimes I think I'm just a little naive. I thought, but it would be here, we'd be here now, or it's taking longer than I thought it would. Sometimes it's, come on, everybody, get on the train, let's go. And, but it's going to be how long it's going to be. And, that's the way that's how it is now. I've come to realize it's not going to happen in an instant. It could if everybody just all of a sudden had an epiphany and woke up and went, oh, we don't have to do it that way.
Yeah.
So I hold space that could happen. But I know now we are definitely moving in that trajectory. I see it everywhere.
Yeah. There's just so many things happening to us at once, and
it can be very overwhelming at times.
Yeah.
I completely understand that. So it's, where do you choose to focus your attention?
Yeah.
I'm not saying don't be aware of what's going on, because that's naive. But how much you have to think about, what can you do with everything? Where's my energy best spent? That's how I think about it. If I believe in a cause, I'll get involved. But I can't be involved in every cause, because then my energy is dropping, and then I'm no good to anybody.
Right.
So it's a time to be very, 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 I'm going to say the word selfish, but I mean it in a way that you're caring for yourself first all the time.
Yeah. We're going to say that the connotation to selfishness is usually taken in a very negative way, but it doesn't have to be negative.
But I don't mean it that way, because I think it just got changed, that word, around a bit. Because there's nothing wrong with being selfish. For self first.
Yeah. So I'm gonna ask you this, and then we really do have to wrap it up because we're running out of time.
Okay.
Where is the best place for Robyn to spend her energy right now?
In nature. For sure. In nature. I've been doing a lot of remote healings, and I was quite resistant to that at the beginning, because I like the energy when I'm with someone. But however, I'm really enjoying it. It transformed me quite a bit. So, and I find as I'm doing these healings, and we're co-collaborating, because it's not just me, we're working together, and I'm finding that it's helping me stay more on my platform, because I've got to walk my talk, or what am I doing? Right?
Right.
So every morning. I'm walking in nature. I'm 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 taking care of me, being selfish in that sense. I'm going to use that word. And I'm becoming a stronger and more powerful healer. And I'm becoming a better person and a kinder soul. And I'm seeing the world with it is where it is. And we're all having this amazing experience of being a human. And I'm not sure where it's going. I believe it's going to the light. So I'm just, but I'm just all these groups that are coming forward and everything's bubbling up to the surface, because what isn't in the light, what's been in the dark, has to bubble up so it can be released.
Yeah.
So I would say my biggest is nature, and the causes is what I'm an earth keeper. So that's where I'm focusing my attention, but more on a spiritual, like holding space and love and holding that energetic right now.
Okay, cool. So, and where do we find the Calm Village?
You can go to www.thecalmvillage.com and go there and check it out. I've got some events coming up, and I'm doing my forest walks. We're actually going to the beach next week, this Saturday. So there's room for more people if you'd like to join. And I would like to say to everybody, just be blessed. You're beautiful beings. You're going to get through everything. We never get more than we can handle. I was going through my early 30s because it was just like, oh no, another person's ill, and it was just, I just went, we never get more than we can handle. We are powerful beyond measure. We don't realize how magnificent we are. We are massive, massive beings.
Okay. Thank you for joining us today. And thank you, everybody, for listening. And we've got to go until next time. This show has been produced by Depictions Media. Please contact us at depictions.media for more information.